Jane Logie.
Mr Speaker, I rise to take a short call on Sue Moroney's bill and the unpaid parental leave, and it's with great pleasure to be able to stand up again and talk to this issue, an issue that is dear to my heart. I was in the community working for the YWCA back in 2001 in the campaign to get 12 weeks paid parental leave. And we worked very closely with the then Minister Laila Hare in the battle to get this through. And believe me, it was a protracted battle to get that basic provision where New Zealand was so far behind in global terms. And sadly, 13 years on, we are still so far behind in global terms, and it is appalling to be having to make the same basic arguments about the value of extended paid parental leave in 2015, particularly when last term this House went through the debate and we had well over 3,000 submissions from the public of New Zealand who 99.6% of them, I think, told this House that for them 6 months was a priority, that they'd had their own experience about what would work, and 6 months was that benchmark for them. And we heard that from women, we heard that from their partners, and we also heard that from employers. And employers were telling us that 6 months was much easier to manage, that when you've got a shorter time period, it's actually, you get to that point of going, will I find somebody to fill in when it's 3 months or not? Will I just kind of try and juggle and get extra people to work longer or do the extra jobs to cover that time? And most of them, that's what they've been doing. And they said that if it was 6 months, it would be that benchmark to enable them to say, okay, actually, we'll advertise this position and get somebody else in for this time period. And that would be easier for them to manage. And that would also help people in our community get extra work and work experience to fill in that time. And of course, most crucially, or one aspect that's crucial, enabling the women who are going on paid parental leave to keep their job. Because we heard from so many women about going into the workforce and once their paid parental leave was up and actually still breastfeeding, still being up right through the night and not being able to manage and actually leaving their jobs. And that has a very long-term consequence for our economy as well as for the economy of those households, let alone the well-being of the babies, which of course is at the heart of the point of this bill, that we know attachment in those first 6 months is critical. We know that the health and the development and the cognitive abilities of babies are strengthened from 6 months breastfeeding. It is very hard to work full-time and breastfeed a baby. That is just a practical reality of life. And I certainly would like to see us have much more provision in terms of supporting fathers or partners being able to be there in that early times of life, but also we have to recognise the importance of the attachment between that primary parent and breastfeeding. And that is a core part of what this bill is about and why it's so critical that we have 6 months and nothing less. Obviously, the Green Party, our policy is 13 months, and that's about enabling that time for the family and the establishment, and it's not unreasonable in international terms because it's an investment and it pays off. At the heart of our society, everything is about our people and our environment, and this is one of the small things that we could do in this House to recognise the importance of people in this country. So the Greens are very proud to be supporting this bill yet again. And I have a smirk of hope that this time the will of the country will triumph.